we are back with the golf quilt and it is time to quilt it, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I am kind of toying with the idea of letting my husband have some say in this, since this is gonna be a quilt for his dad, and so I may give him some freedom to choose what the design looks like, and that could be good. That could be some gentle nudging to see, maybe choose from one of these. But that said, I think I'm gonna do a gray thread. Since the golf balls do kind of have some gray to them, I don't want to do stark white because I feel like that's going to stand out against this, but I do think a nice light gray is going to blend pretty well with these prints. And then my backing, my husband did get to choose this, and so I had done a fluffy back for his mom's quilt, and I knew that was the same vibe I wanted to go with this one, but because this quilt measured 58 by 60 something, I couldn't fit it on the regular width of cuddle because those are only 60 wide. If it was a cotton backing, I'd feel a little bit more confident in kind of playing it risky like I do with some of the 3-yard quilts. But in this case, I decided to play it safe and go for the 80 wide Mirage from Shannon Fabrics, which does limit the colors a lot. That is one of the bummers about the 80 wide. There are less color options, but we can't expect a full rainbow in the wide, but there were still some good options. So at first I had narrowed it down to a silver gray, the snow white, and ink blue, because the greens were just like aggressive, like Christmas green, or like a basil color, which was close to this color but still a little bit off, and the brown is going to be the binding, so I wanted something that was going to look good with that. So I asked my mom, she kicked out the silver because she felt like it was kind of a weird gray color. It wasn't quite this color. And so I gave my husband the two options. I said white or dark blue. And we went with dark blue. So this is ink. It's probably my favorite dark blue of Shannon Fabrics Cuddle. And it's a really good, a really rich blue. I use it more than navy because it feels like it is more of that navy color. So this is going to be on the backing. So I'm going to get this loaded on the frame. The way I'm going to load it on the frame is the 80 is going to be the width, and then I got a 1 7/8, no, 1 3/4. So I'm going to load this on there sideways so that this quilt is going to need an all over design, not a directional one. So that's going to kick out the golf ball design, which is okay with me because that's a lot of dense stitching on the Minky. So we're going to get this loaded and we're going to call in reinforcements to pick a quilting pattern. So for design, I've gone with crisscross, and I did get the husband's stamp of approval, and then I've got this silver gray thread. It's kind of got a little bit of a brownish to it, but my coworker and I agreed that it kind of hinted more into that tones instead of being like a true gray. So I'm going to go wind my bobbins, get this all loaded, and we're going to get this quilted. of our quilt top, loaded on sideways, so it's quilted like this. This is actually the right side up, and it looks all awesome with this crisscross. I love it so much. And here's our backing, where you can kind of see a little bit of crisscrossing in there. That dark blue is going to look so good. It actually is pretty close to that. So now we're going to go lay this out on the floor and trim it all up with binding on and call it good, because the birthday approacheth. And here we are at the end of the video, which means that is the time for the reveal of the print splits quilt. And I think this turned out super cool. Usually I don't tend to theme my patterns with exactly what is shown on the cover of the pattern, but the fact that it was shown in golf fabric just made everything so much easier to kind of have clarity, and turned out really great. So I love how this turned out. I'm so excited to give this as a birthday present. Every time I show my husband, he's just like, my dad's gonna love that. He's gonna love it. It looks so great. So, there it is. The only thing I do have to say about this pattern is, just like the Christmas one that was also a QT Fabrics pattern, I had a lot left over. Like, because I didn't cut the border the way that it said to do it, I have a whole bunch left over of this outside green border. I've got some of these reds and browns all left over. Obviously I have lots of the focal prints left over because I did it differently, so that's on me, because I chose to do about 14 different fabrics from fat eighths instead of doing duplicates from fat quarters, but I like it that way, and it just gives it some variety. And it did, just with those three colors, kind of create these diagonals. So the top row goes green, gray, blue, green, and then the next row does the next rotation. So we've got patterns going this way, diagonals going other ways, but I think it turned out awesome. And it was so nice to see the brown instead of doing like a stark black, because that's usually what I would do is my like featured color. In the pattern it says black, but none of these prints really had black in them. So, and then it came down to the backing, and this dark blue on there just looks so good. And it was interesting because I loaded this on sideways. I've done this quilting design many times before, and so because I loaded on sideways, the big points, instead of going up and down, they were going side to side, which kind of just gives it a different look. So with that, there is about to be a photo reveal so that I can get this gifted and on its way to its new owner.